Okay, folks, before we get started, I think it might be a good idea for you to use some of the basic tutorials as a way to get used to the environment. So, the ones that work in 2018-4 include the all of the items that are on the basic tutorial screen. The tutorial projects, however, are not for this version of Unity. And so, if you want to run these, you can install 2019.1 on a separate instance or in a separate way. I don't want you to go down that road at all right now. Don't worry about these, and we can work around that. There are some items under resources. As you can see, my interactive 360 project is not downloading for some reason, so I'm gonna investigate to see why that's happening. But we do get some things like a particle pack, vehicle tools, a tower defense template project, and that sort of thing. We also have some links to some really nice tutorials and such, and so um, there's Learning Unity's home pages here, the interface and the essentials that you might need, how to learn to code using C Sharp, working in 2D for game development, lighting and rendering, and then joining the community to get involved in discussion boards and that sort of thing. So if I look at the basic tutorials, I just want to step through each of these and give you a chance to follow along with this as a guided tour. So the first one is the play and edit mode. I'm going to forget the project that I was working on previously so that this will show up. It has to download some assets and things, and so once it does that, it will come back up on the screen and we'll be able to see the tutorial. This differs from what you're seeing in Chapter 17 in terms of the project that we're going to be working with. But we will have a chance to work with this stuff as soon as we make our own projects and everything. So bear with me for 1 second as this installs. Okay. So the first tutorial takes you through a basic look into the windows, and I want you to do these things on your own as well, but I'll walk through here. The first two windows you can then read. The third one is the scene as it's constructed, and this is where all of the objects are in the game, and you can use any of the tools in here to reconstruct your scene. And I'm just going to click next. Then there's a game view, and what this tutorial allows us to do is to play the game through by entering play mode. And then we hear some sound, and we can use our arrow keys or the WASD combination to walk through this very basic maze. And then we win the game, and we get particle effects, and awesome things happen. Okay. And then if I hit play again, we get out of that mode and click next, and then we are done with that tutorial. The second tutorial follows on. I'm going to click forget because it's just a tutorial. We don't really need to remember much about that. And I'm going to let it install some of the things that it needs to do the second tutorial. What you end up seeing on your screen is this assets progress on here. Hopefully you're not seeing a beach ball, but if you are, no big deal. Just let it go through the installation. Now it's going to show you a tutorial on game objects and components. And so the second tutorial is about game objects and components. Click Start. So everything we see in the scene is a game object, and they're the building blocks of Unity. And then components of game objects change how they look and behave. So a component tells Unity what the game object does, such as move or make a sound. So think about a game object as anything that you want to be part of your game. And then the actions that you attach to it will be contained in components. All right. So I'm going to click play, and we'll watch this play through. And so it's asking me to move to the green triangle marker from where I am located. So I have my character, and I'm going to move to the green triangle there. And then when I hit that object, you notice that the one object moves down, and things happen, right? So we can't get past the laser. Woo! Oh, we melt and we die. Oh, sad days, we died. Okay. So I'm going to hit stop, and that helps me get out of this mode. And then we're going to go on to the next item. So we can't move any further because the box 1 game object doesn't fall when the green platform moves, right? So to make the box game object fall, we will add a component to it. This is a rigid body. So rigid bodies are part of the physics system in Unity, and they allow us to enable physics to occur. Everything in this environment is just open and messy for the opening time period, and we'll work on a whole bunch of working with this stuff. There's a nice tutorial that I can step you through that will help you understand that. But so what we're going to do is we're going to follow along with this. So I select this game object, I click on it. All right, so I've selected it, and you'll notice that over here a whole bunch of stuff changes. So this is where it gets exciting. And this is overwhelming at first, so don't panic. There's a lot happening here, but basically what we want to do is focus on the items that are in the inspector here. So we have box 1 selected. We have all of these different characteristics of this particular box, and this object is the thing that we want to change around. Okay. So what we want to do is add a rigid body component to the selected game object. And so in the inspector window at the bottom, I'm going to click Add Component here. And in the menu that appears, I'm going to pick Physics. Now look at the stuff that you can do. There's so much in here, but we're going to stick with Physics. And then we're going to choose Rigid Body here. And when we choose Rigid Body, it says, okay, cool, you're good. And when you look at the rigid body options, you have things like mass, drag, using gravity or not, is kinematic or not, etc. So there's lots of things. There's even collision detection that you can add to this. So we're going to test to see what happens now. I'm going to hit the play button. And next thing you know, we're playing. I'm going to use my arrow keys on the keyboard. I should have a little camera that shows that. But basically, now, once I hit that arrow, the box falls. That's so cool. Isn't that cool? All right. So now I'm going to move to the red square marker. Just follow the tutorial along because, of course, you know, things are happening. And so now we have this other object that's supposed to move the number 2 item. We can't get past that second laser, right? So I'm going to hit the pause button as well here. And then I have seemed to have lost my window. If you lose your window at any time, don't worry. What you can do is go back to the layouts view of this, and I'm going to click on the default layout, and that gives me most of my things. I'm going to open the tutorials window, and my tutorials window is somehow snuck off to the side. And we can move these windows around as we see fit. But this is I guess where I'll just put it for now. And when I click next, then next thing you know, I have another window that is highlighted, and that highlighted window is the hierarchy window. So the hierarchy window is a list of everything we can see in the scene view, which is available here. And then we use the hierarchy window to organize and view objects in the scene. And so I click next. And so now I'm going to select a game object called box 2. I'm going to go in here and click on... Something is falling apart here. So I'm going to click on box 2 here in the hierarchy. And let me open this up. And so box 2 game object does not respond to physics forces and cannot be pushed by a robotic arm. So we need to add a rigid body component to this game object too, right? So I selected the game object called box 2 over here, and I click next. And then in the inspector window, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to click on add component, and I'm going to click on physics, and I'm going to find my rigid body, and I'm going to add that component there. And I have some of the defaults up there as well. Be careful whenever you're doing this. Maybe your tutorials window has disappeared, and you notice that this is like a non-standard Mac interface, so it's a little bit awkward sometimes on the Mac to work with this stuff. So then once we have done that, I'm going to go to my play mode. I hit play, and then my play window will come up. Here I'm in a different layout now, so it's a little bit different than it was before, but there's my laser, and there we go. I'm safe, and then I hit my second square. Next thing you know, push the box into place, and then I can finish off this level. And I win. Hooray. Okay. So once I'm done with this, I'm gonna hit the play button again so I can get out of that, and I am done with this tutorial. Good. So what I hope you're seeing from this is that when we're working through these tutorials, just a quick overview to give you a feel for the interface. You might want to work through these 2 or 3 times just to get used to everything. And things might disappear on you. There's no shame in just stopping and restarting Unity, and if you get stuck, let me know. I can help you out so we can get going. All right, I'm gonna hit stop on this.